Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last meeting of the week, the podcast in which yours truly and an amazing team have fun inviting friends and people around Hong Kong. This episode, don't forget, is brought to you by Wine Not, the most reliable and faster, I cannot say this with a straight face, wine and spirit supplier in Hong Kong. You can find them at winenot.com.hk. And they are so nice with people that listen to this podcast that if you put in the code LASTMEET, LASATMEET at checkout, they give you 5% discount. And they have very, very, very good prices. So 5% is, you could actually make a business by buying and selling what they have. Today we have a special guest, and I'm actually very happy. First of all, thank you, because the first five, they win a special place in my heart. But also because apart from being a friend, you are someone that has so much depth to talk about. I think I know a little bit about you, and I know that you have been a photographer, you are in organizing festivals. You actually are an expert, you make money on affiliate marketing. And now you're writing a book. So for all of you that spend your Sundays on the sofa, now it's time to feel bad. This is an opportunity for you to learn how to take advantage of life and squeeze it to extract all of the juice. Anna Palmer, welcome.
Hello. Hi.
How was the week?
I was good. I just recovered from COVID.
This is the first, the second, the third
This
time?
is my first one. Yes, I thought I had skipped it for the 3 years, but then I went to Singapore and I got it.
Did it hurt your pride?
It did, as well as my bones. But the pride more than anything, because I was so proud of it. I was like, I know me, I can't get COVID, I'm a survivor. And then I got it.
But you think you didn't get it before, or like you got it and your body was resistant, or just you didn't get it really?
Maybe I just didn't test.
That's a very good. Can you put this a little bit even closer? This has to be
like
respects to Marco. Yes, your boyfriend for the next hour and a half. Okay, but you're fully recovered. Thank you for coming.
I'm fully recovered. Yes.
I introduced at the beginning your most recent creative work.
Yes.
Your book about astrology, and this is something that fascinates and scares me a lot. But I think it's super interesting because you really have been doing a lot of stuff in your life before coming here. You've been in Hong Kong for 7-8 years?
Yes.
And but how did you get here? Like, where did you start?
Okay, I started. Well, it's a long journey. Yes, I go chronologically, so everybody freestyle. I'm from a very small village of the Campania region in Italy, a village called Airola that has 7,000 people. I lived there most of my life. I went to university in Napoli. I was very lucky to be able to live in the city of Naples. That was maybe 50 kilometers away from my hometown, but they gave me like a different perspective on life. I lived in a very small community where everybody knew everybody helped everybody knew everybody's business. And then when you move into a bigger city, you start to understand that you're no one. Nobody knows who you are. And you can, express all the facets of your character because you don't have to follow the rules of community. You don't have to, follow rules that are kind of culturally there. And so it was a great opportunity for me. It was good and it was bad at the same time. It was bad because it gave me so much curiosity about the world that I knew that Napoli wasn't going to be the last resort for me. So When I was at my fourth year of university, I applied for a scholarship to go study abroad. I won the scholarship. I went to live in Rotterdam. And I'd never been before to Holland. And I don't know, sorry, if you ever been, Rotterdam is not the nicest city in Europe. First of all, I moved there in November, and it was so cold. It was so cold and rainy and humid and damp. And I was thinking, what am I gonna do? I don't know anyone. I went there on my own. So I was the only one from my university be sent to this university. I went there on my own. They placed me in a student hall. I was living with this German guy called Daniel. He was a drum student at university, but he wasn't as noisy as I expected. No, it was super nice. And then I learned that German people sit down when they piss. Because this guy had this big paper in the toilet, and he said, please sit down. And one day I was like, Daniel, I have to sit down. There is no other way I can pee. But why do you have to put it there? I mean, I know. No. This is for your friends. If they come, they have to sit down, because I sit down on the toilet. It's easier for cleaning. We need to keep the place tidy.
Okay. So it is a matter of hygiene. Their approach is just
hygiene. Yes,
I'm trying to avoid future troubles.
I'm trying to avoid having to clean. That's why I try to keep things as tidy as possible.
It's like removing your shoes in Asia before getting into the house. Same process.
Yes. That's not clean. So Rotterdam was nice. I made a lot of friends. Of course, the school was very interesting. I also experienced the very that was very strange for me, because I was coming from a small community. Then I went to this big city, which is in the middle of Europe, where people are culturally so different, and I understood that not everybody likes everybody. And there, and I think the Dutch, they kind of are the maximum description of this not liking everybody. They're very blunt. Like, if they don't like you, they don't talk to you, or they just say, sorry, I'm off. And I remember that our classrooms were divided. So there were the international students and then the Dutch students. So I have no Dutch friends from my university times, because I wasn't hanging out with any of them. In the student hall, there was no Dutch, because of course they had family houses, to live in. So it was crazy. I was like, for me, was a bit was different, but in another way, another level of knowledge to understand people, which is what has always been interesting for me.
Yes, it's surprising, because I thought I perceived this when I was studying abroad as well, but I was studying in other continent with people that looked super different from me, and that spoke another language I couldn't comprehend. So I thought that was the reason. But you're telling me that if you don't have any Dutch friends,
I don't.
That's insane. But maybe Dutch are one of those nationalities that actually become outgoing when they get out of Holland.
Yeah, but I think most of the North European countries, the North European citizens are like this. After the Netherlands, so I was in the Netherlands for 1 year in Rotterdam, and then I had to go back. Mm-hmm. Because I had to finish my university, graduate, and then see what to do with my life. And then one day I went home to sit an exam, and I'm like, I have to come back here. Now in 3 months, I'm going to be back, and what am I going to do? So I was like in panic, and I said, okay, I have to apply for studying because I had no clue what to do with my life. I was studying communications, like everything. It was like very easy, theory, sociology, anthropology, but nothing, very practical to put into work. And so with a dear friend of mine, he suggested me to enroll into a master's degree. So I was like, okay, what do you like? You like people? You like photography? Why don't you do a master in anthropology? And I was like, what is this? Okay, so I looked up for something that was related to these topics. I found this master's degree in London. I applied. I got a scholarship. I moved to London to do the master's degree. And there, same thing happened. No British friends. Maybe it's me. Nobody liked me at that time. But first of all, I think I wasn't speaking very good English. I remember it wasn't my great, asset, the language. But nonetheless, the master's degree was really nice. I met a lot of friends. I met a lot of interesting photographers, anthropologists, teachers. And then what happened? When I was in Rotterdam, I met this Argentinian guy in the elevator. And we became friends. A few people of this year studying abroad moved to London, so we stayed friends. And one day, this guy comes to my house and says, I have a business idea. I think we should do it together. I was like, okay, what is it? And he had this idea of starting an affiliate marketing company, which I had no clue about. I mean, I had a computer just to send emails, to use Messenger, and to use MySpace. Yes. But I had no clue about anything. I was doing photography with analogical cameras, so my focus was on film and the cameras and going shooting. And I said, I don't know, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do. He says, you have to learn how to make websites. And this was 2006.
Why do you think he chose you?
Because I'm clever. No. I think because I'm not sure. Honestly, to this day, we still work together. It's been 17 years. I think that we had a very good feeling. I mean, we understood each other pretty well. And I always looked up to him because I thought he was, and I still think, he's a very clever person. And I think maybe he thinks the same. He saw this opportunity to have me do what he needs to be done. And me, I always have this thirst of knowledge. So, learning about web development, it was just another thing that I could, throw myself into. And so that's what I did. I learned how to do web design. I actually asked this friend of mine there is a journalist. He was living in London. And at that time, you were doing website with tables. So it's very old. It's like before HTML. It's very old HTML. So it's like if you think about an Excel page, you do columns and rows. This is how you were doing a website before. So it was a matter of understanding how to write and how to apply a style to it. Very basic thing. I wasn't doing anything amazingly, complicated.
I'm trying to remember how websites were in 2006.
It was before WordPress.
I didn't have a computer in 2006, a personal computer, which is crazy to think about now.
But yeah, so this is, we started working together. I was in London for another year. I finished my master's and then I started working in a art gallery, because this thing that I was doing with my friend was something that we were doing on the side. He had a job, I was studying, doing other things. And so I never, thought that would be my future. So I was doing anything else that was interesting to me. And art has always been interesting. Then I started to work in a record label because music has always been interesting to me. And then this girl from the art gallery I was working at, she told me, no, you have to go and do an internship. You need to have experience because it's for your CV. And she sent me to MNC Saatchi. And it's a big advertising company in London. And I was so scared. I was like, what? So I went the first day. She took me there. She used to work there. So she gave me a reference to go. So she brought me there. And she was like, never wear jeans. You have to wear smart casual. And me, I didn't have anything. I had no clothes. I was like, what? Okay. And so I was there for a month, working with the pitching department, the account department. And it was so boring.
But what were you doing there? With like something related to the photography side?
Not at all. I was in the account department. So whenever they were pitching a new client, I was helping them doing a mood board, going taking pictures, go see the competition, what he was doing, making coffee, making photocopies. After a month I was there, they told me they wanted to hire me. And I said no. I was like, no. And my problem was, how do I tell this girl I don't want this job? Not the actual people at the MNC such. I didn't really care. But how do I tell Barbara I don't want this job? So I was like, Barbara, I don't think it's for me. It's too corporate. And so that's the moment when this side job that I was doing with my friend became a real job. So my friend was working for another company. He quit. He went back to Argentina. I went back to Italy for a few months. And we started working together. And, it was very interesting. I was doing all the... in the beginning, I was doing the websites. Then I had some people working with me. So I started to have a team. And then we opened an office. And then we opened another office. And then I started to do a little bit of programming. And then at a point, I thought I was going crazy because I wasn't talking to anyone anymore. Because I wasn't working in an office. I was working from home. So my day was basically waking up, starting a computer in the bed, not even getting up, being, typing for hours, and then maybe getting up, showering, and doing, starting the day. And then at a point I said, okay, this is not good. I was turning into a bear.
Were you paid at the time?
I was, yes. When we started working, like the first year that we worked together, all the money that we received, because both of us had different jobs, we were reinvesting it, buying server, buying domains, buying, advertisement online. And then we started to pay ourselves. I got a big computer. Yeah, it was nice. And then, after 4 years, I started to go around and said, I don't want to do programming anymore. I don't want to do the web design anymore. Because things, technology went forward. So there was a lot to learn, which I loved it, but still I wanted to meet people. So I went on to do sales. And so I started to go around to all these affiliates, events in the world, to present my company, to get clients. And I did that for maybe 5 years, 6 years.
And at this time, you were still based in Napoli?
At that time, I was in Napoli. After London, I went back to Napoli because I didn't know what to do in August. Then in September, we started working. And in May of the following year, I moved to Berlin.
Okay.
My friend said, no, you have to go to Berlin. It's a nice city. I was like, yeah, why not? I was very bored in my hometown. So I moved to Berlin, and I was there for 2 years steady. I did 2 winters. It was very scary for me. There was a lot of snow and a lot of cold. And after that, I started what is my own best success. I started not to have winters anymore. So my plan was this, because I said, I work with a computer, I don't have to go anywhere. Why don't I go places? So I was spending spring and summer in Berlin. And then when October was starting, I was going to Argentina, where we had an office. And then I was there, through the winter, and then I don't know, I would go 3 months to Mexico City, and then 3 months to New York, 3 months to San Francisco, 3 months to Berlin. And I did that for 5 years, 6 years. So I avoided winter altogether for a long, long time.
I get the avoiding the winter. I haven't experienced a real one for a very, very long time. Is changing place and, let's say, not having a constant base that you can go back to something that was difficult for you, or you were like super okay with it? Let's roll 3 months here, 3 months there. You adapted very well.
Yeah, I adapted very well, but I always had a place to go back to. I always had the place, my apartment in Berlin. Okay. I always rented it out only for the months I wasn't there, because I always had to have a base. Mm-hmm. So for many years, I traveled with one suitcase, so 23 kilos, and I had this carry-on where I would put my camera, and at that time I was shooting large format, so it was a 10-kilo camera that I was bringing around the world.
10-kilo camera.
10-kilo camera is a big one. First one I had, I was given by my friend Christina, a girl that studied with me in London. It was a camera that you basically had to put together. So it was like the two pieces, a bellow and the lens and the holder, and then you had to have a tripod. It was very heavy. It was the best was when you had to go through security, because at that time nobody's using large format cameras anyway. So everybody was so impressed. Like, what is it? Is it an X-ray scanner? No. What is it? So all the times that you go through security, they have to check what is it. And apparently I learned that one of the chemicals that is in the negatives can be taken as, can respond positively for explosive.
I see.
So every time there was like this beep, 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 further check.
After all of this carrying 10 kilos around the world, are you still friends? I mean, you and the girl who gave you the camera.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. I gave it back. And I bought another one. I actually bought my first large format camera when I came to Hong Kong. So this was from 2010 to 2015. Mm-hmm. I was going around. It was great. I mean, it was great. And now, like 10 years later, it was tiring, I can say. It was very tiring because it was mental tiring, because every month you were thinking about, okay, what's next? So you don't really I was enjoying, but I wasn't really rooting anywhere, because my idea was that in 2 months' time, I have to go somewhere else. Because all these places I was going to, I had no visa to stay. I was only on a tourist visa, so it was a 90-day thing.
Yes.
So every 90 days, you have to move. It's like, okay, where do I go? And, for me, it's weird at the same time, because if you think, when you go to live in a new city, you have social encounters, being them at school, at work, if you go to the gym, you meet people.
Yes.
Me, I don't have to go to work, because work comes with me. I don't go to the gym. I don't go to school. So I was like, okay, so how do I meet people? So I was always going to places where I knew at least one person.
Okay.
So it could be my peer to know more.
How did you deal with loneliness? Loneliness is a big factor when you travel. Did you learn to deal better with loneliness by changing always city? Or do you always, your tolerance to loneliness and solitude has not changed in time?
I think I always been very lonely, as in a loner. I like to be on my own. I don't mind being on my own. So it wasn't a problem. I did never seen it as a problem to be on my own. And then maybe with time it got even better, because I have a lot of things to do. As in, I like to do things, and I like to do things on my own. Even sitting on the sofa and thinking or dreaming about things, it's so nice for me. And you can't really do it if you're in company with another person, because you have to talk, you have to do stuff. And so it was always, it's never been really challenging to be on my own. Of course, there are some things that, if you need an advice or you don't know what to do, or, you're missing your friends. But, there was internet, so you could talk to people extensively. So I think I'm very lucky about this. I don't mind being on my own, and I never miss places. As in, I lived in 10 different countries, and if you ask me, do you miss living in Buenos Aires? No. I miss the people that I met in Buenos Aires, but I can meet them somewhere, you always, friends, they stay friends, no matter where you live. Like, proximity has never been a topic,
Yes, you get used to that.
You get used to it.
Do you keep friendships and relationships from all of the places? Or let's say, yes?
Yes.
Do you have to work a lot to keep them alive? Or you just find the right people?
I think you find the right people. I think with time, people that are not meant to be your friends, they slip away. Or I slip away for them. But people that, are there and are meant to be your friends, they stay friends. And they stay friends as well if you don't talk to them for a year.
Yes.
When you're lucky enough to start this very deep connection with somebody that doesn't share any history with you, then you know that person is going to be linked with you forever. And it's, I have friends from everywhere I've been. And when I go back, because this is the thing, this is the problem about, going around, is that you have to keep going,
Yes.
So I lived in Argentina, yes, but I go to Argentina almost every year. I go to Mexico maybe every 2 years. I go to Holland. I go sometimes every 3 years. I go to Napoli every year, meet my friends there. I go to the US often. You have to keep,
Yes, but I think that you do something that is very uncommon and very special, which is that you do work a lot on these things. I've been living abroad not as long as you, but quite a bit of time, and I do realize that there is a lot of people that, because of the routine, they don't reciprocate on the attention that you try to give them, and slowly I fade away. I still have friends now pretty much in every continent, because economical crisis push everyone everywhere. There is like a massive exodus, centrifugal exodus, but it's very special that you still keep on doing these things. You mentioned Mexico. I missed the Mexico part. So you lived in Mexico as well?
I lived in Mexico 3 times for a month each.
Okay.
It's just because I had to go out of the United States. And so I had friends living in Mexico. One of my best friends that I met during this exchange program is a Mexican girl. And she lives in Mexico now. And she's been living in Mexico for a while. And then when I lived in Berlin, one of my best friends was from Mexico too. So it was nice for me to go. And then Mexico was super nice because it was so esoteric, and you could see all these markets where you could buy anything esoteric. They were like cutting chickens' heads and giving the blood. It's great.
why do Mexicans like so much esoteric things and surrealism? Why do you think that is?
I think I don't know. I think the energy of the city is what shapes people's likeness. No, so if you think about it, Mexico, they have this love for the esoteric, but they have the love for the unspoken gods. They have the love for the first Aboriginal people, for the totems. And I think it's the land itself that gives them this power. If you think about it, I come from, the biggest city next to my hometown is Napoli.
Mm-hmm.
And Napoli has as well this love for esoteric, for death, for the afterworld, for the magic, for, all of this. I think it's, for Napoli in particular, I think it's the energy that the land gives because there is this active volcano. So the energy in the city is really, really
perceivable if you live for a long time, I guess.
What is it?
That you can perceive it if you live
No,
forever.
for sure, yes. Like the energy, how do people walk, how they behave, how they act among themselves. It's different, and it's very close to Mexico, for example.
I never thought about that. But it's very interesting. If I think about Mexico, I think about Jodorowsky doing all of his tricks. Movies and books and everything. And everything in him is kind of nuts if you think it from a European point of view.
Yeah.
But then when you put the pieces together, it makes a lot of sense. So Mexico, US, and in the along this life trail, you always take pictures.
Yes.
You never stop taking pictures.
No, I always took pictures because I love to take pictures. I love to go around. But I love about photography, this is what, confuses me the most. And the fact that I like to take pictures, but I love to wait for the picture. And I haven't done much with my pictures, when I lived in Berlin, I've done some shows, I've done some art fairs, but I never put, enough effort to present myself as a photographer. Because to me, what I love the most about taking picture is looking at something, composing a picture, taking the picture, and then wait for the picture to come out. And so you wait, 2-3 days, 1 week. Maybe you wait a month because, you're around, traveling, you can't really develop pictures. And then when you see them, it's the real joy for me. Regardless of if these pictures are shown in a museum or in a gallery, for me, when I see the picture in a material form, it's my, ultimate joy.
Yes. Do you go back to them often, or do you just keep them in a drawer and you don't look at them?
I go back to them, yes. I like. I'm very nostalgic too. So
Are you? You're very nostalgic. You have a project that I discovered by chance, because for the people that are watching and listening to this and know Anna, who are a lot of them, I don't know if many, or what's the percentage that know about this passion of yours, because it's a very silent passion.
Yes.
The other day there was a Mexican friend that was living in Hong Kong, and you did something with him that you had been doing with many other people, apparently.
Yes. So I've been doing this since maybe 12 years, 10 years, 12 years. So since I got given this large format camera, I said, okay, I have to do something. So the large format camera, the issue about it is that it is very heavy, right? And it's not easy. It's not a point and shoot. So if you have to take a picture, it takes time. So you have to set everything, set the focus, wear the cape, focus the image, close the lens, put the plaque, and then shoot. Right. So if you are in the street and you want to take a picture, it's a bit takes a lot of time. So I said, okay, how do I do it? How do I use it? How do I get better by taking pictures? And I said, okay, I have to take portraits. So I was like, okay, why don't I take pictures of all the people that I meet?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a form of keeping them with me. You know, a lot of people you never see. A lot of people, I don't know, either died, other, moved to other countries, other, disappeared. So I have around maybe 250 portraits that I took all these years. So before I was taking picture of all the places I was visiting and all the friends that I was making. I actually started it when I was living in New York. So my first pictures were from New York, of people of New York. And then when I went to Argentina, I took pictures in Argentina, in Mexico, in San Francisco. I went back to Berlin. I took pictures there. And here in Hong Kong, I started to take because I was here. I was not going anywhere. I started to take pictures of people that are actually living in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So people that I know that I'm not going to see for a long time.
Yes.
I take a picture.
Okay. I do actually.
And it's a black and white portrait.
We have some of them.
Yes.
That I asked you to send me.
Yes.
There is this gentleman with an amazing mustache.
This is my friend Giovanni Dominice. He's a guy from Arizona. I met him in Berlin, and he's actually the champion of imperial mustache.
The champion of where?
The European world champion of imperial mustache.
Oh, wow.
Yes, lovely guy.
A technical question: what is a large format camera, and why do you use it as opposed to normal point and shoot?
The large format camera is a camera that has, instead of having a film, has a plate. So the negative is one plate, one sheet of negative, and its size is 5x4. And there is another large format camera which is 8x10. So 5x4 is like A5. Then 8x10 is like A4.
Okay.
So the main difference between the large format camera and other cameras, being it, medium format or 35 millimeters, is the fact that when you focus, in general, the cameras, the focus is perpendicular.
Yes.
So I can focus on you, I can focus on your nose, on your eyes, on the ear, in the wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the large format camera, because the two pieces of the camera where the lens stand and when the negative is placed, they are divided by a bellow. The front part and the back part can tilt autonomously. So the back part, you can tilt it like this, and you can tilt it like this.
Mm-hmm.
And the front part, same. You can tilt it like this, and you can tilt it like this. So gives you the chance to create a line of focus that is unique.
Okay.
So when I started this project about portrait, I was telling people, because you have to, they have to sit there, and they have to sit for at least 2 minutes, right? They have to sit straight. They cannot move. They have to be like this.
Are they able to make it?
Yeah, they do. Everybody does.
But they're suffering at the
They're
end.
suffering. And they're like, some of them, they're holding the breath. You can breathe. It's fine. It's just, when you focus someone and then you close the lens, you put the negative in, they can't move, because if they move, you're losing the focus.
Yes.
So whenever I was asking them to pose, I was telling them, look at the camera as you thinking that you're judging me. Give me a judgmental look. So everybody's like, and people, they have to, put on a face, a pose, are more likely to be still, because you're actually posing. So yeah, that was the idea behind it, because with the tilt of the focus, you can only focus on the eyes. You can only focus on one eye, or just the mouth, or whatever else.
So all of these people are judging you.
Yes, all of them.
So who is this?
This is the girlfriend of an Italian guy that I met in Berlin. His name is Giovanni Verga. He is a musician. And this girl, I don't remember her name.
But she was judging you heavily.
Oh, yeah. And she's Finnish, from Finland. Yes, I took this picture in Berlin.
Is this, let's say, imperfection something that happened or something that you were looking for?
No, this is a light leak.
Okay.
Something that happens. But this is, I think it's one of my favorite pictures. Because this girl, her name is Lara Gold. She's a German girl. And she was going through a personal transformation. And I think that light leak kind of gave us the input to understand this transformation.
Okay.
So, yeah, she was like very nice girl from a nice school, very nice, always nice to everyone. And now she's an amazing person. She was an amazing person even before, but she's completely different.
Okay.
She is a techno DJ. She still lives in Berlin. She has changed from, her normal corporate job to her passion. She really went through something amazing. And I think this light leak, it's, I don't know. I always saw it as
there is something, there is esoteric input.
Yes.
No, I'm looking at these pictures because I really think some of them are very scary. I mean, the Finnish girl was a little bit scary, but then the rest have a warmth into them.
Yes. This is José Lataliste, Spanish guy from Marbella that I met in Argentina. He's a producer of a very big rock festival in Argentina called Indie Folks.
Okay.
Yes, very smart guy.
Why did you choose all of this? Why did you choose these people to show me when you sent me the handful of people that we have here?
Because I took pictures of very early portrait and the latest ones.
But always the same machine.
Always the same. I mean, no, the machine is not always the same, but the film is always the same.
So this is very nice. We have here this very good looking guy. Looks Argentinian.
He's Italian.
He's Italian. Okay.
Yes. And this is two pictures in one. There's something sometimes happens because you have this holder for the film, and you have one film here and the other film here, right? So you put it into the camera, you take out the blinder, and then you shoot. And then, if you shoot another picture, then you have to take it out, turn it, all the blinder, and shoot again. Sometimes you forget, and sometimes you say, did I change? Did I move that? So I have
a few of them.
A few of them that are double exposed, like this one.
It's actually nice.
Yeah, not bad.
What do you? I mean, the thing is this. I really want to. We still have 4 more to go, but I really want to. It would be very unfair if you chose them and we don't talk about these people.
This is a guy I met in New York. He was an artist. He is an artist. I'm not sure. I lost contact. This picture was taken in 2011. Was the a friend of a studio mate that I had.
Okay. And then we have. Now this is a little bit scary.
This is the first picture that I took for this project, for this portrait project. This guy, I think it's called James.
Yes.
When I was in New York, I did this. I took this class of platinum printing process.
Okay.
So this large format, generally pictures, you can use an enlarger to direct them onto a sheet of paper and then develop. There are other types of developing or processing. So platinum printing is a process of developing pictures by contact. So you just take the negative, you put it on a piece of paper that has been processed with an acid, and then you put it in a light oven.
Okay.
And so depending on the time, you have different contrasts. So there was this American photographer that was doing this class of platinum printing. So I said, nah, why not? And I met James there. James was another student like me. And so I said, James, I want to start this project about portrait. And so he was kind enough to be. And then, he's actually giving me the best judging eye.
I have to say, out of all of them, probably this is the one that communicates the most.
Yeah.
Has your way of taking portrait changed in time? Are you seeking for different things right now, or do you let the person be just themselves?
I just let them be. I cannot direct. I am too scared of directing, I think. Because I don't want my way of judging. I want their way of judging.
What about him?
This is my friend Stuart. This is my one of my best friend is a musician from Atlanta, Georgia. He lives in Berlin, and at that time he was obsessed with this electric cigarettes because he had quit smoking because he had a baby. And this guy is one of my best friends. You see, before you ask me how do I keep these friends, me and Stuart, we go on a holiday together every year, at least 2 days. If I don't go to Berlin to see him, we go somewhere else. So it's a way of, and maybe for the whole year we talk twice.
Okay.
But then we have to have a moment for us.
Okay.
And he's the most intelligent guy I've ever met. You can talk about anything with him. And then in music, he's very knowledgeable as well. He makes very good music too.
Then you sent me a few pictures from Antarctica.
Yes.
Now, I'm not aware of any volcanic or seismic activity below Antarctica, but these images, they transmit a lot of hidden power.
Oh,
And
sure.
and they are totally the opposite from the portrait. And I've been into your house, and you have other pictures from probably the Arizona desert that are, let's say, quite impressive. Do you enjoy when you are out and about? Do you take these kind of pictures more, or do you focus on portraits? Do you need to focus on something, or you go freestyle all the time?
It depends where I go. I think what you were saying about the energy, I think, yes, portraits, they give you an energy because you're looking at a person and this person is giving you a certain look or is assuming a certain pose. But I think that when you go and take landscape pictures, they in theory, they can be very blank. It's like a mountain or a lake or, a hill. But the rock itself, it's full of materiality, full of energy itself. So Antarctica, I don't have to say, it's the most beautiful place I've been. And it's the most scarce things I've seen. There's nothing else than a black sea, very dark sea, and mountains full of snow. This is actually a picture when we arrived in Antarctica. It was really, really weird because we got on a boat in Ushuaia, which is the southern city in Argentina, and we sailed into the Drake Canal which divides Argentina to Antarctica. And what it's not a pleasant journey because the sea is very rough.
Mm-hmm.
But when we got there in a snowstorm. So when we got to Antarctica, when we arrived, you couldn't see anything from the boat. It was all white. Like you were there was this white curtain.
Mm-hmm.
So you go outside of the boat. It was a big boat, like a cruise boat. It was like half a meter of snow. And we were there for 12 days. And I thought, I sailed 36 hours into the Drake Canal to see nothing, because you don't see anything. So it's white. And so we waited, and you can't really go anywhere because visibility is zero. And then at a point, snow ended, and then the clouds started to move, and then there was a sunset. And this is, I remember I went on this Climate Force cruise to go to Antarctica. So when we were inside waiting for this fog to clear, there was a conference going on. And then at a point you could see, from the windows that the fog was moving, and then there was this beautiful sunset. Everybody went outside. It's like the poor guy that was speaking was left on his own. But it's such a beautiful landscape, such a beautiful sunset.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. Actually, if you give me permission, I'm going to print
please.
one or two of these, because I think, I don't know what it is, but it just kind of like makes you feel at peace.
But that's the thing, even when you go there, you don't know what it is because there is nothing. You're sailing around this little. This is another joke. This is a little, the archipelago that is on top of the Antarctica. You see, the Antarctica looks like an elephant. So the nose of the elephant goes up. And so this is the first point when you get from Argentina, when you sail. And this archipelago is called PALMER archipelago. And so we were there, and we were going every day. We were moving a little bit to see another piece of land. So we were on the boat, and then twice a day we would go on a Zodiac, on a small boat on land.
Okay.
And then you would do a little bit of trekking. You would walk around. Of course, there was a team of guides, they were setting up the path for us because it's can be very dangerous. As well as you can't be outside for more than 40 minutes, otherwise you freeze because it's very cold. And you go there, and there is nothing. People are saying, okay, what do we do? You can't really do much. You can walk, an hour per day? Because, 40 minutes and then another 40 minutes. You're on a boat for another, an hour per day? And then you stay on the big boat. But I found myself many days just sitting on the deck, outside deck, and looking at things. And maybe you look at, if you think about it, it's nothing special. It's a mountain that goes into a sea with snow on top.
How did you feel at the time? What were your emotions and things as you spent these very long days on the boat?
I was feeling very calm. I think the vastity of the place gives you a dilated sense of time and space. And we were actually lucky to be there in March, at the end of March. So our day and time perception was almost 12 hours. Because in a lot of cruises, they go there in December or January, and the day is really long.
Yes.
But we were there on a 12-12, so you had a very set time for being outside and then being inside.
I'm trying to wrap my head around how it works. So you go from Argentina, and if you stay, let's say, in the Argentinian territory, you keep kind of like the same time zone. But if you travel around Antarctica, it has to swift very fast.
Yeah, I think it's like going to Greenland.
Yes.
It's same. It's like going to north of Sweden.
Yes.
You know, the time zone is not on the parallel, it's on the meridiano, so it doesn't really matter how south you are.
Yes, exactly. But then if you
it depends on the season, right?
Okay.
So in summertime, the furthest you are from the equator, the most hours of sun you have.
Yes.
So December and January, because we are on the southern hemisphere, is the summertime.
Yes.
So March is the starting of autumn, when the day it's almost 12 hours day, 12 hours night.
No, this I understand. My perplexity was regarding wake up time and, let's say, going to bed time. Like, what time does the sun rise and what time does but maybe probably this is probably something that
there was a guy waking us up every day.
Okay.
From with an
coffee and
intercom.
It
was a really good buffet breakfast. So everything was catered, of course. You can't eat anywhere.
Yes.
So you eat on the boat, and you sleep on the boat. And when you go inland, there is nothing. I mean, there are, what is it called? The stations. Like, I don't know, the Argentinian station, the weather station. But because it was during COVID, it was 2022, we were not allowed to go in.
Okay. It was during COVID. It was 2022.
Yeah.
You had escaped Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You had escaped Hong Kong that for whatever reason you chose, you decided that after all of this nomad experience, when nomad was not a word that it was fashionable, you decided, okay, I'm going to settle down. And then you decided to come here.
Not really. I didn't decide to settle down. That's the thing. I came here and my idea was to be here 1 year.
Okay.
So after I was in Berlin and I was going around, my Argentinian friend, my CEO, decided that it was time to open a company in Asia, because things with affiliate marketing is that it's a bit geographically trendy. So it started in North Europe, North America, then it moved into Latin America, and then moved to Asia, and now it's moving to Middle East.
Okay.
This is the trend. So we had an office in Latin America, in Argentina, and we were starting to see that there were big clients in Asia. So we said, okay, we can't really keep communication with these clients from Argentina because we have a 12 hours difference. So why don't we go there? Nobody of us spoke Chinese. So I moved here to open an office, and my idea was to be here only 1 year. But then it was 8.
And why?
I don't know. The first year I was here, I hated it. I hated it so much. I didn't like it at all. And then, by chance, I met a guy that introduced me to another guy. And I started hanging out with him. This guy's name is Peter Gorton.
So he was him.
It was actually Fabrizio Napolitano. There is a chef. He had a restaurant here in Hong Kong. And the restaurant was close to my office, so I would go there to get coffee kind of every day. And every day I was voicing out my dissatisfaction about the city. How can you live here for so long time? Don't you get bored? What's your deal? And he was like, okay, one day I said, Fabrizio, that's it. I'm leaving. One night I was in this club called Bougies. Don't know if you remember. He remembers. And I was a bit drunk. Me, I don't drink that much. I was a bit drunk. I was tipsy, yeah. I was dancing a remix of Rihanna. And as I was dancing, I said to myself, conscience came back. And I'm like, what's going on? Why am I doing this? So I went home ashamed of myself, like all these years in Berlin, queuing up to the clubs. And now I am dancing a remix of Rihanna in this place where they have these champagne bottles with fires. I'm like, So the next day I went to Fabrizio and said, that's it, I'm leaving. This is it. I don't want to be here anymore. I'm ashamed of myself. Said, no, but I'll introduce you to a guy. Nah. So introduced me to Peter. And with Peter, he was organizing. He was the production manager for many festivals here in Hong Kong. He said, yeah, you just hang out with the wrong people, Anna. Don't worry. Yeah, come and work with me. We do things together. I'll change your mind. And so 2 weeks later, I was helping him producing a festival called Alternate. Then I worked with him for Sonar Hong Kong. I worked with him for Clock. I still work with him for Sonar, for Clock and Flap. And that opened for me many new doors. And so even before, I didn't know where to go dance, where to go listen to techno, where to go listen to house music. Then I started to know people, and I started to know where to go. And so I kind of made up my mind in the sense that the city was so comfy in the sense that it's a very safe city and you can do whatever you want. And when you know what to do and where to do it, it's just a lot of fun.
Yes.
And so I think by laziness, I stayed 8 years.
It's a city that characterly, it's very different from many of us. You can be very Asian, you can be very fancy and glitter. How do you think the city changed your personality, if it changed it at all?
I think I got much more patient. In the beginning, I was going crazy. Like, these people are crazy. I don't like this. Now I'm just more laid back. And I'm actually, I never been a person that complains a lot. I don't like complaining. And when I started complaining here, no, because I was fairly bored. But I think the city gave me the opportunity to understand what I really liked and not being a passive customer of whatever the city offers. So I became much more active in seeking what I wanted to do, what I wanted to hear, what I wanted to see. Not that the offer is this amazingly big, but for what it is, I don't go everywhere.
Yes.
I kind of decide what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And maybe in other cities I was more angry, more hungry for things. So I would go everywhere, not to have this FOMO. No, I haven't gone to the party. Now I don't go.
But you're busy doing other things because if you actually put everything into context, the fact that you do the photography, you do the affiliate marketing, you collaborate with a number of festivals. You have a dog.
I have a dog.
And then on top of that...
A pre-COVID dog, I have to say.
Actually, it's very funny because we had the conversation about post-COVID DJs. And there's also post-COVID dogs.
Me, I have a pre-COVID dogs. Actually, Filippo came with me to get my dog, to choose my dog.
Really?
Yes.
And with everything, you decide, okay, this is the moment to start putting together a book about astrology for kids. And before talking about the kids part, let's say, why astrology? When did it happen?
Well, I've always been very interested about astrology, but I think it comes from my culture. As I said before, I come from a very small town. My grandparents were farmers. Everything in our house was was going around the moon and sun. So you know that you have to plant some seeds in a certain time of the year, and in certain time of the year you have to pick the fruits. You kill the you kill the pig on the first full moon in January. The cows, they give birth after a full moon. You cut your hair when there is a new moon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's everything is related to the moon and the sun, right? So I always had these things like, why is this? You know, why? If we follow this as a rule, as farmers, right? They have no other knowledge, right? So they just lend all their knowledge on whatever the solar system is doing. Of course, what do you see? You see the moon, you see the sun, that's it, no? Nobody had a telescope to see anything. And so I started to read about it, no? I was like, why is this? And, you know, because I'm thirsty of knowledge, one thing led to the other. Then with my friends, when I was at school, we were joking and saying, okay, this guy is Aries. No, it's not for us. I'm a Cancer. No, you're a Sag. Like this. No, we were using it to categorize people. Saying, okay.
How important it is to keep some zodiac signs out very far from you? Like,
it's very important. It's vital, let's say. No, I mean, you can't really generalize. It's like how likely is to keep a very tall man far from you. You know, you can't really generalize, but there are characteristics that go well or go worse with someone. So,
for example, if you let's make an example that is not yours, so you don't put yourself in a weird spot.
It can be me. I don't mind. For example, me, yes. I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
And I can't really have a Gemini boyfriend.
Okay.
If I were, let's do it like this. If I was only thinking about my sun sign, no? Mm-hmm. I would not fit with a Gemini. Mm-hmm. Because signs are completely different. But then, if you look at my entire natal chart, I have a lot of planets in air signs, and Gemini is an air sign. So I actually share things in common with the Gemini. Mm-hmm. I don't share much in common. See, my whole natal chart, I don't share much with fire sign. So Aries boyfriends, no good.
No good.
No, and I tried. I always tried because I said, maybe this is wrong, but nah.
So you have put the astrology, the natal chart to the test.
Yes, of course, yes.
And theory always prevails.
Of course, I'm biased, of course. But yes, it does prevail. But I see it with my friends as well, right? Because me, I always can be biased on it. But my friends, I can't really be biased on them.
Do you think that because of this bias, there is some people that take a stance against astrology from fear, from being a little bit scared? Like
Why?
Because there is a certain belief, a certain feeling that if you are discovered your future, somehow you are bound to it.
Yes. But astrology doesn't tell you your future. Like, this is this general thinking about, tarot or astrology or everything magical.
Yes.
Nobody's going to tell you your future. Right? There is no way the tarot cards or the your natal chart
yes.
is going to tell you what's going to happen to you. I mean, I wish, but no, they don't tell you your future. They just give you a perception of things that normally you wouldn't take into consideration.
Okay.
For example,
do you want us to actually move on to what you did for me? Because I have been one of the skeptical ones. Skeptical because I was scared. So I asked Anna that in the days leading to this podcast whether she could draw my natal chart, and she did. She was super, and she did, and we have it here. So we thought it would be cool to actually for you to tell me all of the darker aspects of my life. No, seriously speaking, it was actually quite interesting. Disclaimer: on Saturday, you explained to me a little bit everything, and maybe again I'm biased because I like you, and at the time I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense.
And then did you think about it?
Yes, it was not so ambiguous actually. It was actually quite spot on.
But did I tell you anything about your future?
No, you did not.
No, I can't.
No, you did not. No. You let's say, reconstructed many of my perceptions regarding this issue. So, what are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at your natal chart. So, let's say that this circle, the middle of the circle is you.
Okay.
And it's... the middle of the circle is the hospital or the house you've been born in Oviedo, right? And then if you look at it as a fairy tale, as a fantasy, in your birth bed, if you look up onto the sky, you can draw a circle, right?
Yes.
And on the circle, there is different constellation. And there are planets that are placed in different constellations. So in the moment that you're born, there was 445.
You can touch it. You can move it around.
Okay.
Yes.
445. You have a certain set of planets within constellations. And some planets, they have different aspect with different other planets. So they're like 90 degrees, 10 degrees apart, 360 degrees, 180 degrees. And this aspect, they characterize your persona.
Okay.
So you're born in July. So the sun is in the constellation of Cancer.
Yes. June, but it's okay.
June, sorry.
Let's make people believe it's July. Actually, I found out, Filippo, that Chinese, they don't like to reveal all of their birth information because they believe that then people that can read this type of natal charts will have too much information on them. So if you have the coordinates, the time, and the date and the month and the year,
you can destroy them.
They can destroy your life.
I do the same.
You destroy lives or you hide it.
I hide it, and at the same time I destroy life.
Anyway, okay. 29 of June.
Yes.
Right? We don't say the year. On the 29th of June of that year, the sun is in Cancer. The moon at 4:45 was in Leo.
Okay.
And that morning of the 29th of June, the sun was 6 a.m. was rising in Scorpio.
Okay.
So you're a Cancer star sign. Your rising sign is Scorpio, and your moon is in Leo.
Okay.
This is, the general list of characteristics where a lot of people stop and say, okay, I'm a Cancer, but ascendant Scorpio. And that already tells about, a lot of things about you because your sun and your ascendant, rising sign, are in a water sign. So Cancer and Scorpio. But then, if you go see everything else. So in Cancer, you have Mars, Mercury, the Sun, and in this chart it doesn't show, but you have as well Black Lilith in Cancer.
Can you explain what Black Lilith is? Because I didn't know before.
Black Lilith. There's many different association with Black Lilith. Black Lilith is the name of a asteroid, but it's actually the Black Lilith we have in the chart is explained like this. So, the moon has an elliptic trip around the Earth, and the elliptic, this ellipsis is not. Let's say the sun is the Earth. Is not in the actual center of the ellipsis. So that means that sometimes the moon is closer to Earth and sometimes is further to Earth. Now there is a if you measure the center of these ellipses,
yes,
and you see that the Earth is on the left side, so the moon is on the apogeo. The exact point where the Earth is on the other side of the center. There is a point that is called the Black Lilith.
Okay,
it's actually what is the point of the dark side of the moon. Okay, so that point in the ellipses of the moon is called Black Lilith, and it describes your hidden, repressed needs. Okay. So all the dark sides in your persona can be explained by looking at Black Lilith.
Dai, let's be courageous. Let's let everyone know my dark side, because everyone wants to be a family guy. Everyone wants to be decided and driven.
Do I have to say?
We can, if it's so bad, we cannot say.
It's not very bad. I mean, your Black Lilith is in Cancer. Your Sun is in Cancer. Yes. Mars is in Cancer. Mercury is in Cancer.
Wow,
no, Mars is the planet of action, how you do things. Mercury is the planet of communication, how you talk, right? The Sun is how you see yourself. And the Black Lilith is your dark side. Okay. Everything is in Cancer. So, Cancer is a sign that is very nurturing, yes, is shy, is very protective of itself. And the Black Lilith describes you, Black Lilith in Cancer describes you as a person who is very afraid to ask for help.
Yes, it's true.
And it's a paradigm of the Cancer. No? You have the action planet in Cancer, so I'm doing things my way. And then the Black Lilith in Cancer, I am not going to ask for help. I'm scared. These people are going to betray me. And Mercury in Cancer is like, everything is going to be said in a nice way. Let's not offend anyone. We all good. And then the Sun in Cancer is like, I want all my friends to be a family. I don't want to be alone. Everybody's like around me. The Black Lilith doesn't tell you like your con side, your negative side. Yes. It's just a way of saying, okay, this is my downside. Mm-hmm. So if I have issue in my life, I know that I can ask for help. Okay. And asking for help is what will push me to do better. Okay.
No, actually, it's quite precise, if I have to be totally sincere. So, is this the approach that you're giving to the book for the kids? Like, what was the origin of that
I
idea?
have to say another thing about the Black Lilith.
Yes, please.
We had this conversation on Saturday night.
Yes.
And you told me a story that I'm not going to repeat.
Yeah, please no.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, while you were saying this story, I was saying, I felt really bad because, not because of your story, regardless of your story, I was feeling really bad because whatever you were saying,
Yes.
I had read before when I was writing your natal chart. No,
Yes.
I was reading this thing.
Okay.
And then you were telling me a story, and I was like, I feel so bad because what am I gonna say? I know. Because you don't really know. I actually have no, clue about the story. But
Yes.
Black Lilith in Cancer says that at a point in life, you have had an encounter with someone that has failed you,
Yes.
and therefore, from that moment onward, you're very skeptic about how helpful people can be for you. So you always prefer to think for yourself
Yes.
before asking even for advice.
Yes.
And so Black Lilith says, in Cancer, allows you to see this thing in a different way. So sometimes when you are too much closed or don't ask for help, what happens is that you go to extremes.
Yes.
And so by going to extremes, you can jump into things that are actually not for you. So, like going too strong into something or giving zero risk, right?
Yes.
So the Black Lilith says, okay, you want to do something, instead of going 100% in or zero in, ask someone. And then, you'll have a different perception of things, and it will avoid your extreme behaviors.
So let's say that Filippo, in a certain way, is my how to say, my way out of the Black Lilith. So okay, fair enough.
Yes.
It makes sense.
So you're saying, just to conclude, with all this wealth of information,
Yes.
Fernando should take all this intelligence and work on himself rather than consider himself doomed and channeled.
Of course, yes. What astrology does is just give you another perception of things, because even if you don't care about astrology, right? You know yourself in a certain way.
Yes.
And you teach yourself, you brainstorm yourself, you brainwash yourself about this persona that you think you are.
Yes.
Right? So you convince yourself that, for example, not asking for help, it's good thing
Can
to
be good,
do.
yeah.
Because maybe 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, it was good for you, right?
Yes.
But then astrology gives you this other perception to say, hold on. What if you do this? What if I read this in another way? For example, you have Mars in Cancer, right? So Mars, planet of the action, can be seen, Cancer is not the most active sign, being a water sign as well as very laid back. So you may come across a bit lazy. But on the other side, you have a lot of planets in fire signs. So you're kind of a dual personality. It's like, okay, you're a bit scared, a bit shy, somehow lazy, but then you have this push from the other side. But you have other planets in fire signs. You have Sagittario, Leo with the moon, and Capricorno. So Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune in Capricorn and Sagittarius. So very independent and action-driven signs that balance the emotional, lazy, watery side.
Okay.
So you're kind of well balanced in the sense that you think about things you're scared to do, but then you have that drive that says, I'll do it. And even though I have to do it on my own, I will do it anyway.
So now I just need to let's say, make the leap of involving people, and everything will be better.
Yes.
It's a good message. It's a good message. No, I think it can be very interesting to teach kids about whatever it surrounds them. In a certain way, I always believed that religion had precisely this role in life, which was not to believe that there is like sort of like a magic invisible friend that is doing things for you, but it's a way for kids to understand certain parts of reality. And this is nice. It's actually nice. So how are you, let's say, how is the thing with what type of language are you going to use with the kids?
The book is not actually for the kids.
Okay.
The book is about kids, but it's for the parents. Because this is what I thought. When I went to Antarctica,
yes,
I was looking at this vastity, and I was like, how can I make my life more, to have more meaning, right? It's like, okay, I've done a lot of things, I've traveled, but everything was for me, no? You take pictures, they're for me. I travel, it's for me. It's like, how can my life be more meaningful? It's like, okay, whatever I learned in all these years, I've been around, I've studied, I want to give this knowledge to people and to have them use it as a tool to make their life easier. No better, no worse, just easier. So I thought, okay, on the astrology side, I know a lot about astrology. How can this astrology serve people? And then there's a lot of astrologers. Like the majority of astrologers are for grown-ups, right? You start reading a horoscope when you go to school, no? When you're 13, 14. But nobody talks about astrology for kids.
Yes.
When you're like 2, 3, 4. So I have a lot of friends that have kids. And I see their despair when the kids is like 1 or 2, the kids doesn't talk, the kids behaves in a certain way, and people have no clue. Why is acting like this? Why doesn't want to share the toys? Why he doesn't want to go to sleep at night? And as a expat, somebody living abroad, I feel this for these people that are like me, you're alone in a country where you have no help. You have no clue about what you're doing with your kid. And I give you a tool to read behaviors.
Yes.
They're matching the chart of your kid. And what happens is that you can use this tool to understand and favor or restrain behaviors that you don't think are correct. So the astrology chart can be seen as a tool to understand personality of your kid and challenges your kid can face. Like, I bet when you were very young, you were very shy. Me, as a Cancer, I was very shy. I wouldn't play with other kids. I wouldn't talk. I would get so angry at my birthday when everybody, they sing you the song, Happy Birthday. Yeah, then everybody claps the hands. And me, I would get so ashamed. I would cry because I would not like to be the center of attention.
Yes.
So my mom, she was like, hey, it's okay, she's a bit dumb. But, I think that if there were tools to help my parents to understand my behavior better and to guide me towards a different perception of my behavior, I would have had an easier bring up.
Do you plan on doing the book and then maybe doing some type of content? Because this is something that, there is one thing that it's a constant in life, which is coming to this world and living it.
Yes.
So there will always be young parents.
Of course.
And there is more and more people. There is but there is there is always going to be someone that is interested in consuming this, let's say, in,
of course,
in video format.
It can be just, one sentence can give you a new perspective on things. So what I'm trying to do is not one book for everyone, because it would be too difficult to put on. But I create a unique book for each kid. So if you were a kid,
yes,
I will make this chart for you, and sign by sign, planet by planet, give you insights on how to tackle your challenges and how to improve your personality.
I see. So when is it going to be ready?
I've done a few. I only have digital. I haven't printed it.
Yes.
I'm asking a friend, because me, like you, I'm a Cancer. I'm not really asking for help, but I finally did. So I asked my friend to help me doing illustration for the book.
Yes.
So I have 4 in line, and then whoever needs.
No. I'm gonna do it for my daughter. It's fantastic. Up to this day, Anna, what are the things in which aspects of your life is astrology something determinant? You always talk about Mercurio is in retrograde. Let's stay at home.
Let's not sign contracts.
Let's not sign contracts.
Let's not buy phones.
How many of these things do you actually follow?
I follow all.
Okay.
Yes.
So what are the most important things that we need to be aware of? Like the dangers. Mercury, it's obviously everyone talks about Mercury, so it's super important.
Okay. Whenever, there's always this negative connotation about planets that are retrogrades. And I don't think it's a negative. I don't think we should give it a negative connotation, because on a physical level, the planets doesn't retrograde, right? Because the planet has an orbit and it always follow one direction, doesn't go back, right?
Yes.
It's just the position of the Earth that makes you believe that the planet is going back. But it's just a moment for us to reflect and stop. So Mercury is planet of communication. So when Mercury is retrograde, what happens is that if I say something to you, maybe I don't use the correct word, you can misinterpret.
Yes.
Or you can read, misinterpret. You're maybe thinking about something else. And things don't go good because it's nothing's flowing smoothly, right?
Yes.
So it's just a way, a moment to reflect and assess. So when Mercury, like we just had a lot of planets retrograde. We had Mercury, we had Venus, we had Uranus. All these planets that, they describe something for your life.
Mm-hmm.
The retrograding is just a moment of sitting down and say, okay, what is it that I'm doing? And now all these planets retrograde, they actually were at the same time as September. And September for me is the month of, we started to go to school in September. Is the start of the year. So it's a good moment to sit and say, okay, what am I going to do this year? How can I improve myself in communication, in love, in transformation, in karma, in whatever thing.
Yes.
And then whenever the planet kicks direct, then whatever you thought, you can put it in place.
Okay.
It's just it's a natural rule. If there is a night
Yes.
with no moon, you don't go sailing, do you?
No, you cannot. You should not, yes.
But if there is a night with a full moon, you can go sailing. If you don't see a planet, you wait.
Yes.
And then whenever you see it again, you say, okay, now I can...
You move again.
Yes, I can put in action whatever I thought.
So in a certain way, it's applying to modern life the same beliefs that farmers used to...
Yeah, of course, it's the same.
Guide themselves
It's just,
by.
Making it broader, because farmers, if you think about the prehistoric men. No, they
Yes.
were in the cave. They could only see the light of the sun and the light of the moon.
Yes.
And they were scared of the dark. They didn't know what was outside. What did they do? They said, okay, how do I fight this monster that I see outside? Maybe this monster was a shadow. They would make things that resemble the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they went on to a little bit of evolution. The prehistoric man started to talk, think,
Yes.
reasoning a little bit, and they say, okay, now instead of being afraid of the land, of the earth, we have to protect ourselves and produce for our well-being. So the seasons, the seeding, the picking up of the fruits, killing of the animal, and it's all revolving about the sun and the moon, right?
Yes.
The tides of the sea, everything is sun and moon. And then, after that, they said, but there is another planet there. I can see this. What is it? Is it a star? It's Mars. And then it's Venus. And then it's Saturn, And then by time, they discover more and more planets. Each planet is attributed with a value of their own. And then you just put them all together and use them to rule your life a little bit.
You were saying September is a moment of reflection, but September is a moment of reflection because you completed the harvest.
Yes.
And so you stay still, and you figure out. It's a moment also of excitement because it's something new, it's a new phase, and we all feel a bit regenerated or changed in September, don't we?
Yes, it is actually the real beginning of the year if you think about it. Like no one really begins the year. It's such a lame excuse to say, there is something that big is changing from the 31st of December to the 1st of January. No, just make an excuse because you want to get drunk.
Yeah.
That's it. But I was I mean, I was actually thinking the same thing a couple of days ago. It's really this month in which things kick into place. We always start school in September.
It just asks for the northern hemisphere, though, because southern hemisphere they start in March.
But they have a different
season. Yes,
they have different season. They have a different sky.
For sure, yes.
Okay. So today we prepared a lot of things that we could stay here for probably 6 hours. But I want to save some stuff for the next time because I really want you to come more often. For just to be do something useful for people that might be listening to us up until this minute. If someone is curious about astrology and they think that a lot of the stuff that they see online is just blah blah blah. Where could we start? What is astrology 101 that is reliable, nice, that is, let's say, cultivating for your mind and not just superstition, as you sometimes find around there?
I recommend choosing an astrologer.
Okay.
And get a reading of your natal chart.
Okay.
Once you have an in-depth reflection of how you are, then you should do every year, the day of your birthday, your solar revolution.
Okay.
The solar revolution is the same natal chart.
Yes.
Of the day that you're born, but in the current year, in the current city you're living. So it described how the sky looks like on your birthday, but this year at the same time you were born.
Okay.
And that gives you an insight on how the next year is going to be. Not how the next year is going to be, but how favorable are the planets for you to put in place things.
Okay.
I think the astrology reading is essential. You can read whatever book.
Yes.
You can read things about, general knowledge about astrology, but you never get so interested if it's not about you. So when you have your first natal chart reading, then you'll be so interested in understanding how you could use it in your daily life.
I'm gonna do it. I'm curious. I am. You change. I was one of the skeptics, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was one of the skeptics.
I don't want to know.
So no. I enjoyed both the conversation because it was you and because we talked about this, and because it's number 2 and because it's the first of many. How did you like this? Because we are in beta mode, so I want your harshest opinions.
I was very nervous, but it was super nice. It was just a nice conversation.
It didn't show that you were nervous. Thank you very much, Anna.
Thank you.
All right, and for everyone, just go and talk to an astrologer. Solar Revolution every year, and listen to the podcast, subscribe, leave 5 stars, that we need to become millionaires.
Yes.
Have a great day, have a great weekend, and see you next Friday. Ciao.